or producing those images, even if you haven't been prosecuted, we have the capacity to electronically locate you and we will sue you in the civil justice system. And it is our goal to help the victims of those images and represent them, and also to deter you and other downloaders and producers from continuing to exploit children electronically.
It's so important for victims to know that this is an option, because you've already been harmed from the sexual abuse, and then your image is out there, and you have no power and control about who's looking at it, where it goes, or what you can do to possibly stop that. Technology has changed everything. This is an opportunity to know that you can do something to hold the people accountable that are looking. There is nothing innocent about just looking. It is harming a very real victim. It is feeding a very unhealthy pattern of behavior and arousal, and there are resources to help.
The prosecutions of actual downloading are few in number, and we applaud the U.S. Attorney in the work that they've done and are doing. We really do applaud them. However, they can only prosecute a small number. We have the ability through this law to pursue and deter large numbers of downloaders across this country. We have the will, we're committed, we care, and as I said, if you have been downloading, we're coming at you.
People tend to think of child pornography as adult women that look younger, and it is so far from that. It is younger and younger victims that are being sexually abused and further victimized through that pornographic capturing of the abuse. So the term is misunderstood by a lot of people. By calling it pornography, some people think of it as harmless instead of very real harm, further exploitation to those victims.
Bob Schwiderski, give us your take on this.
Well, today we have the internet porn. But porn is not a new tool for child molesters to use to groom children. As sure as a sniper uses a bullet, as sure as there are lights at a carnival midway, many child molesters use porn to groom children. Now, with the advocacy work where we sit with other survivors, it's shocking how many of us have something in our past where our perpetrator used porn in the grooming process. Summer of 1959, 16 boys, most of us prepubescent, traveled to Okoboji, Iowa, carnival. That night, there all of a sudden were these porn magazines. The perpetrator was grooming all of us. So just as important or as damaging as it was in 1959 with that method of porn, it's even more so today because of all the porn that's out there because of the internet.
We're now a half a century after Bob's exploitation. Pat, what's your take on this?
My take is that child pornography has gotten so much easier to distribute, from 1950s, that accounts for the mushroom cloud of the number of reports and the number of images. Over 1 million children in the U.S. alone have been victims of child pornography. Over 1 million U.S. children have been victims of child pornography. What we have is a couple of graphs. Let's just look at these. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the number of reports of child pornography has consistently gone up, and you see kind of a bubble in about 2004, but it's still, until today, it's 85,000 reports, new reports of child pornography that are made to the National Center. Now we need to compare that to the the number of federal prosecutions that there have been for child pornography. So we're working at about 85,000 reports. As of 2006, which is the last year we had available, less than 1,400 prosecutions, federal prosecutions. What happens to all those children who are not in the 1,400 but are in the 85,000? And you can do the math. There's an incredible number of children out there that are being exploited who have no remedy in the criminal system. Mashas Law was developed and passed, in fact, to handle that problem. And it's going to be civil lawyers who are going to step in, like us. We're going to step in, and we're going to find those folks that are doing this pornography, and we're going to get them.
So these professionals are here today and devoted their lives to helping those that have been harmed and training so that they can prevent it from continuing to happen. Our work as civil lawyers representing survivors and victims across the country has been dedicated to helping those that have been harmed and preventing it from happening to others. When it comes to the internet and the use of these images, there are civil remedies now that people don't know about called Mashas Law that was passed by Congress that says that we can help those victims whose images have been downloaded sue anybody who has downloaded that image, and we intend to.
Jeff, here's one of the challenges is that another way to think about the scope of the problem with the cyber tip line is they get over 2,000 reports a week. Over 90% of those are child pornography. What most people don't realize is that most of these cases are never reported. The children that are victimized, identified in the child pornography images, have not told anyone about that before. There's a double silencing that takes place. You're first victimized, and that is often silencing versus reported, and then knowing that that abuse is documented silences again. There needs to be other tools to support and advocate for the victims, and that's a very important part of why we're here this morning.
And these kids can be protected through the system. Their identities never become known, and they can't get hurt further through the processes that we use. And so we can assure that no further harm is done, and they can be helped even if the offender isn't prosecuted. If they've downloaded it, we can electronically prove they've downloaded it. We got them. We'll sue them. We'll hold them to account, and we'll deter them from continuing to do that, and we'll deter others from what has become a widespread practice across the internet and across this country.